Hey guys, so now that I've got my wig pinned away, and you can see that I have pinned it so that I have a clear view of a weft all the way across. And I'm actually, normally I would be starting down here at the bottom to add more length to the bottom, but because of the fact that in this wig, I want to be able to show you, it's really hard for me to show you how I'm sewing when I'm down here, so I'm going to start and do a little piece on this side that you can see. So, just want to make that clear. You would normally want to start closer to the bottom for things that you're adding to. For me, I'm starting over here so you can see the side, and you can also see how I finish the sides of each part of the wig. So, here's our wefted hair that we're going to be using. I showed you. One thing you need to do is you need to see that there is a front and a back. This is the front of the weft, and you can tell because the seams on it are nice and smooth. On the back, you have more kind of like extra stitches. So if there's a front and a back that's definable, make sure you use the front when you're laying it on there. So you're going to have to undo all of your weave. It's just going to be a long, crazy, wild thing while you work. That's fine. It's not going to hurt it. So what you're going to do first is you're going to measure how much you're going to need on your hair. So to do that, what you need to be doing is take a T-pin and using just a little bit more than what you need, because you're going to need to fold it under in the front, you're going to pin it. So I'm pinning it. You can see right here I'm leaving a little bit out, so I have room to add some. And you're just going to stick a pin through the weft into your wig like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring it around. And normally, see, if I was adding a weft to this whole line, I would go all the way around like this on my form until I come all the way to the other side. And you can see we're matching that up to what's already there. And you can even add some more pins if you like to make sure you've got it nice and tight and even. So you can see that would add a weft all the way through there. Now I'm not adding that much because for this part I just want to show you how to do this. So I'm just going to add, and of course you would leave extra on the other side as well because you're going to need to turn this under. So what I'm going to do for this part is I'm just going to add, actually you know what, I'll go ahead and do the whole weft. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and take this, and using my pin, I'm going to pull it taut across the weft that I'm working from, which is that one that's exposed, and line it up. I'm going to pull it pretty snug, and I'm going to put a pin in it to hold it. And you can see I'm not pinning it down all the way, I just need to hold it there. And then I'm going to add another one. I'm going to use another pin and pin it in there, just straight. And then I'm going to add all the way, bring it all the way to the other side. And like I said, leave a little extra because you're going to need to be able to fold it under. So I'm going to leave a little extra. And I'm going to go ahead and pin this part here. Like that. And then I'm going to take and cut off this weft. Like I say, leave, about an inch or so past the hairline because you're going to need to fold it under. One thing you want to be careful of when you cut, do not cut up, cut down. And there's no reason to cut through this loose hair. Cut down from the top of the wig and just, if you want to come in close, just snip the, through the part of the wig, the weft that's sewed. You don't need to cut through the hair at all. So I just like to cut this and then just pull it away like that. So now we've got that ready to sew down. So what we're going to do is we're going to start sewing our weft down. So we're going to take another pin and pin a couple more pins here. I'm going to put one right here for now. Okay, we're going to take this out, this pin, like this, and we're going to fold the loose end that we left under. And now when you add this, what I don't want you to do is don't go all the way to the edge. You need to leave a little space between the front edge of your wig and where your wefts are starting, because otherwise you're going to wind up with bulky little ugly bumps and spots that are going to look really bad. So we're going to take and fold this pretty far down, all the way. Actually, I'm going to take this in and go all the way to here and make this loop and lay it down nice and neat. And some people like to do these on the top. You can do that too. I like to do them underneath. So you're just gonna pin it through both sides so it stays. Now do the other side like that. You're gonna pull your pin out where you marked it, and we're gonna fold. Like I say, we don't want to get too close because we don't want a lump showing. So we'll just add, let's do about this much through here. And it doesn't matter if you don't get the same amount of fold under in each spot. It's not really going to hurt anything. Although for this one I may trim this because this is a little too much. And this is supposed to be the light side of the wig, meaning less hair. So we'll take that out. And when you get these little extra pieces, save them because you can sew them in. They're not trash. Perfectly good. We're taking, fold this under. And we're coming in right about here. And I'm gonna stick a pin in that, like just like that. Alright, so now we've got our weft pin on top of the wig weft. We can see what we're doing. We're not just working blind. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to sew. And you're going to need, for this, you're going to need your curved needle, like this. These are, you can actually get these at Walmart for $1. And you're going to need your thread. What you're going to want to do is use double thread. Some people will say single, I say double. I think double thread's better because it's sturdier and you don't have things falling apart. So we're going to cut this. And you're going to thread your needle, and this should thread pretty easily. If it doesn't, you can do it like sewing thread and lick it a little bit or put it in your mouth. Or you can use a needle threader or a little teeny piece of paper to get it through the eye of your needle. Like that. So we're going to tie our knot in our double thread. Like this. You're going to bring your thread ends together. You can sew it all. I would hope you would know how to do this. And just tie, I like to just tie a regular knot. There's really no reason to do any kind of crazy, like weird sewing knots. And go ahead and, after you've tied a couple of good knots, go ahead and cut this tail off. Not real short though, but pretty short, because otherwise this is going to be hard to get out of your wig. So now we're going to start sewing. So make sure your thread is all kind of smooth together and it's not all snaggled up. And to start, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sew a knot into the wig to make sure that this doesn't come loose while we're working. So what we're going to do, if you want to come in pretty close, I hope you can see, is you're going to take your hooked needle here and you're going to go under through the weft and through a weft of the wig. And see, I'm starting here where this nice piece of netting is, and that's good because that's going to be extra sturdy. And now you're going to take and pull this through. And before you get to the end, what I want you to do is put your needle through the loop of your thread like this. And then pull it down nice and tight. And, excuse me, you're going to go through and do that one more time. And try not to catch any loose fibers of your hair that you've clipped up while you do this, because otherwise you're going to get a knot in the hair. It's going to be hard to fix. So try to do this cleanly. So you see I went through the loop and sewed it right in there. So we've got our base knot. This will let us start sewing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew this on. And when you sew wefts to a wig, or if you do them to a braid for an extension job, you want to use a blanket stitch. So you're going to hold your thread in this direction, and you're going to take your needle. I'm going to show you slowly. You're going to come under your weft and go all the way under, and also get under the netting as well and come out like this. So we're just sewing all the way around like this. And you're going to pull this up. Make sure you have no hair caught in your stitches. Also watch out, sometimes these T-pins will catch what you're doing. And that's going to give you a little loop. And what you're going to want to do is come through your loop as you sew. Like that. and that'll give you a nice little stitch that has a line across the top, and that's what you're trying to get, is that little line across the top. That's what makes a blanket stitch. I like to line my stitches up, if I can, across the top of the piece of hair. So now we're going to do one more. This one, my T-pin's getting in the way, so I'm going to move it out to the very edge, like that. So we're going to do one more. Go under. Make sure you go under all your wefts. Go under your netting. You're going to have to play with it to find where you're sewing here sometimes. Like that. Come through. And then you're going to, like I see, I'm still holding this thread over here. Pull this through. And like I say, lift it up so that you don't pick up hair. And then come under your loop so that you get the blanket stitch. And you can see, do it that way. You make nice little, see, we have another little line stitch like that. And that would be a correct blanket stitch. And the reason I like to use the blanket stitch is because it's more connected, and because the stitches that hold the weft down are vertical, so that way when you comb and brush the wig that you're modifying, the stitches won't catch in the comb or the brush at all. It'll be catch free. So now we've got that. Now we've already got this kind of secured, so we can take this T-pin out. I'm just going to move it over here for now. You notice I'm still holding this taut. So we're going to sew a couple more all the way out to the end. And make sure you catch up under everything. Don't miss anything. And what you're doing is going through, and you're going to just push it through, trying to catch as little hair as possible in your stitches. And then when you get almost there, put your needle under your thread like that. And hold it down and pull it nice and tight. Just like that. Now what you'll be doing is sewing all the way out to the very end of the weft. So you're going to do one more, last one here, right at the very end. Or you can in fact do kind of like a reverse stitch like this. You just come under. Sometimes it's going to be a little hard because you're sewing on this wig form. This is why I don't like to pin my wigs too tightly to my form while I work, because otherwise I don't have any way to see what I'm doing, or I can't get the needle through. So I'm going to pull that, and like I said, or like I showed you, a loose one there, go through and hook under the loop. And make sure when you're pulling your knot down, if you think you might have some hairs caught in there, just take your fingers and gently pull the hairs out of the way. Alright, so that way we have this whole part of the weft has been sewn to our wig. And you can see, I'm going to let you come in real close. Hopefully you can see my blanket stitches on top of the wefts. And remember, I'm sewing these wefts to the weft of the wig. So you can see the little lines kind of coming across here, and then you can see the little row of stitch coming across the very top. So that's going to be how you're going to sew an entire weft on. I like to start here, and then I come back all the way across, and I'll come back to this end, and I'll finish this end. But I'm going to just show you, we're going to stop the camera for a second, I'm going to sew across, and then I will show you in the next video how to finish off a row of your wefted hair. Alright, so we'll be back in a minute.